Close this. I'm sorry, Detective, who was it?
Yes, Your Honor, this is Durante Newell.
How old is she?
Oh. All right, hang on 1 minute. I gotta wait for Christy. Ready? On case number 20-1459, Durante Laron Noel. Mr. Noel, can you state your name for the record?
Durante Laron Newell.
Counselor?
For the record, Your Honor.
Durante.
She got you, Mr. Newell. For the record, Your Honor, Dana Freer is appearing on behalf of Mr. Newell for purposes of arraignment. I would waive formal reading and stand my client mute on the charges.
Thank you, Counselor. Mr. Noel, today's your date and time set to be formally arraigned. As your arraignment attorney indicated, I'm not going to be reading out loud what the alleged offenses are or what potential penalties are. You still are entitled to certain rights. You're entitled to a bench trial, jury trial. If you want any witnesses subpoenaed on your behalf, the court will go ahead and subpoena those witnesses. You're also entitled to have attorney present at all future hearing dates, as well as any time law enforcement wants to interview you regarding these matters. You're also entitled to have a probable cause conference held within 21 days from today's date. If you're out on bond, probation, or parole, found guilty of these charges or any lesser included offense, that can be deemed as a violation. Do you understand that, Mr. Noel?
Yes.
I do show that you were originally and formally arraigned March of this year, and then you got one adjournment for a PCC, and then we were unable to contact you per your defense attorney.
Yes, because I had lost the phone in the process of me getting things together, and I didn't know her number by heart, so it was kind of my fault. We just found the phone yesterday. I was going to contact her today and let her know that I was going to have the money in the couple more weeks. I was going to have the money, or should I be able to turn myself in if I needed to hurry up and turn myself in before the couple weeks I get the money. I was going to call and ask her that today because we just filed the phone 2 days ago.
How did you end up in custody today? Did your bondsman bring in?
Yes, they came out to my grandma's house and I came right on out.
All right. Counselor, as right now, the bond's sitting at $25,000 cash surety, 10%. What is it you wanted me to be aware of part of setting bond or continuing it?
Your Honor, my client is 25 years old. This is a first drug offense for him. As he indicated, he is residing with his grandmother, and when they came to get him, he did come right out. He's not currently working. He does collect disability. I don't think he'll make that bond. I would ask the court to consider lowering the bond.
Detective, when the presiding judge originally arraigned him back in March of this year, he's indicated there were 4 warrants. Are there anything still outstanding?
To my knowledge, Your Honor, he's got, it appears as though 3 holds from Detroit for EWAP, squatting, and another various offense.
All right. Go ahead and I'll lower the bond a little bit. I'll do 10,000 cash surety, 10%. Christy, what date do we want to bring him back? So we're going to bring him back for your probable cause December 1st at 1 p.m. What's a good mailing address for you? We have down 19215 Cary Street in Detroit.
Yes.
That's where the notices can get mailed to?
Yes.
All right, sir, due to the fact you have warrants from other jurisdictions in a different county, it's going to be your responsibility should you get moved from Macomb County Jail so that we can do the appropriate paperwork to get you here, okay?
Okay.
All right, we're all set with you.
Here. Back line. Next guy up.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Hi, what's your last name?
Salinas.
Calling case number 20-4499, Joshua Andrew Salinas. Sir, can you state your name for the record?
Joshua Salinas.
Counselor?
For the record, Your Honor, Dana Freer is appearing on behalf of Mr. Salinas for purposes of arraignment. I would waive formal reading and stand my client mute on the charges.
Thank you. Mr. Salinas, today's your date and time set to be formally arraigned. As your arraignment attorney indicated, I'm not going to be reading out loud what the alleged offenses are or what potential penalties are. You are entitled to certain rights. You are entitled to a bench trial, jury trial. If you want any witnesses subpoenaed on your behalf, the court will go ahead and subpoena those witnesses. You're also entitled to have an attorney present at all future hearing dates, as well as any time law enforcement wants to interview you regarding these matters. You're also entitled to have a probable cause conference be held within 21 days from today's date. If you're out on bond, probation, or parole, found guilty of these charges or any lesser included offense, that could be deemed as a violation. Do you understand that, Mr. Salinas?
Yes, I do.
Detective, can you give me a background, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Salinas, CCH dates back to 2011. He's got several felony convictions for FTVs, theft, breaking and entering, LFAs. His last conviction was in 2015 out of 52-3 for DV. I'm not showing any active holds for Mr. Salinas.
All right, thank you. Counselor, do you want to be heard on bond?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. My client is 29 years old and does reside with his wife and 2 children. He's not working right now due to the virus. It's my understanding that this is a first drug offense for him, and after he picked up the charge, he did successfully complete 26 days in rehab. He indicated he has been clean since August. So given those factors, I would ask the court to consider setting a personal bond.
All right, the court will do a $10,000 personal bond. We'll bring him back for his probable cause December 1st at 1 p.m. Sir, do you still live at 46384 Gabriel Drive in Macomb?
No, ma'am, and this is the reason why these warrants were issued for me, because all the paperwork's been going to the wrong address. So the correct address is going to be 47441 DeQuinder, Rochester, Michigan, 48307.
Sir, give me the zip again.
48307.
All right, sir, that's where your new notice is going to be mailed to. I'm going to let you know right now the next hearing more than likely will be done via Zoom. If you don't show up for that Zoom, that $10,000 personal bond will turn into a $10,000 judgment. Do you understand?
I understand. I understand. Now for the Zoom, do I just download Zoom and then what? Just like type in like a code or something?
Yep, we'll mail all the instructions out to you with the Zoom ID code.
All right, thank you.
All right, good luck.
Let's go. Let's go.
4 for 4. Woo! Yes.
Let's go, baby.
Sir, can I have your last name?
My name is Buthane, Mark Buthane.
For the record, Your Honor, Dana Freer is appearing on behalf of Mr. Buthane for purposes of arraignment. I would waive formal reading and stand my client mute on the charges.
Right, calling case number 20-EA-05401, Mark Justin Buthane. Sir, state your name for the record.
Mark Justin Buthane.
Sir, your arraignment attorney's indicated I'm not going to be reading out loud what the alleged offenses are or what potential penalties are. You're entitled to certain rights. You're entitled to a bench trial, jury trial. If you want any witnesses subpoenaed on your behalf, the court will go ahead and subpoena those witnesses. You're also entitled to have an attorney present at all future hearing dates, as well as any time law enforcement wants to interview you regarding these matters. you're out on bond, probation, or parole, should found guilty of these charges or any lesser included offense, that can be deemed as a violation. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Detective, does he have any holds?
Yes, Your Honor. He's got one hold on the 43rd for OWI. Looking at CCH, dates back to 2017. Mr. Buthane was convicted in 2018 for NOP and 2019 for OWI.
All right, thank you. Counselor, do you want to be heard on bond?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. My client is 28 years old. He does reside with his girlfriend and their 4 children. He actually was supposed to start a new job today at a landscaping company. I would ask the court to consider setting a personal bond.
Well, unfortunately, Counselor Christie just handed me as another dropout license suspended, case number 20 EA02524A, Mark Justin Buthane, same date of birth and same address. So that's going to be an issue. So on this one, 20 EA05001, I'm going to do a 5,000 cash surety, 10%. Christie, what date do we want to use? You want to go end of January or? Let's go to the end of January. He's got 2. It'll give him time to clear everything up. Sir, are you going to be able to post bond?
No, ma'am, I'm not. I have no way of.
Do for the other warrant for the drunk driving then?
I plan to take care of it. I planned on going to court and everything, making sure everything was set straight.
Well, they're probably going to come pick you up.
Yeah, I know. I understand that.
Right, forget it. So we'll do December 21st. So we're going to do December 21st, 8:30 a.m. on the new charge and on case number 20 EA02524A. We're going to do the same date, December 21st at 8:30 a.m. And I'm going to do a 2,500 cash surety, 10% on that one. And that's based on via the outstanding warrant. You're all set.
All right, thank you. No personal.
Yeah.
Stand back over here.
Yep, right in front of the camera.
How you doing today, Your Honor?
Good. Can I get a last name, please?
Parham.
You want to give me a last name?
Kareem Parham. Parham. I think it's acting up. Can she hear me?
Yeah. You know, I have a Kareem Parham.
That's it, Karen.
That's
Him? All right. Just tell me when you're ready, Christy. On case number 19-7248, Kareem Isaiah Parham. Sir, state your name for the record.
Kareem Isaiah Parham.
Counselor.
For the record, Your Honor, Dana Frears appearing on behalf of Mr. Parham. For purposes of arraignment, I would waive formal reading and stand my client mute on the charges.
All right. Mr. Parham, today's your date and time set to be formally arraigned. As your arraignment attorney indicated, I'm not going to be reading out loud what the alleged offenses or what the potential penalties are. You are entitled to certain rights. You are entitled to a bench trial, jury trial. If you want any witnesses subpoenaed on your behalf, the court will go ahead and subpoena those witnesses. You're also entitled to have an attorney present at all future hearing dates, as well as any time law enforcement wants to interview you regarding these matters. If you're out on bond, probation, or parole, found guilty of this charge or any lesser included offense, that can be deemed as a violation. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Detective, does he have any holds?
Yes, he does. He's got one warrant out of 43rd District Court, Your Honor. Looking at his CCH, dates back to 2012. Mr. Parham has a few felony convictions, including ADW in 2014 out of 3rd Circuit, And that would have been his last conviction, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Counselor, do you want to be heard on bond?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. My client is 27 years old. He does reside with his aunt. He is gainfully employed. He just got a job working at a plant at 15 and Kelly. He was on parole at the time of this charge, and apparently his parole agent sent him back. So he did do some time for the parole hold, apparently, for this charge. So I just want the court to be aware of that. I would ask the court to consider setting a personal bond.
Detective,
Yes, Your Honor.
where does the complaining victim, Tamika Hamilton, reside at?
Appears as though Miss Hamilton's last address was 23152 Hayes.
All right. Mr. Parham, you still reside in Baldwin, Michigan, or are you residing down here now?
Am I residing where?
Are you living in Baldwin or are you living around here?
No, Baldwin, Michigan. That was the program I was in on parole. I'm living in Detroit now.
All right, what's the proper mailing address for you?
17186 Wisconsin Street.
What's the zip code?
48221, Detroit, Michigan.
All right, the court will do a $7,500 personal bond. There will be a no contact order put in place. He's not to have any direct or indirect with Tamika Hamilton. He's not to go back to 23145. He's not to be within 1,000 feet of the victim and or residence. He's not to consume any alcohol, non-prescribed drugs. He's not to possess any weapons. That includes knives and bullets. Not to leave the state of Michigan without the court's written permission. Chrissy, what date do you want to use for him? He does have the one other bench warrant hold.
That's the next court.
Sir, it'll be December 15th at 1 p.m. Now, due to the fact I'm letting you go on a personal bond, the next hearing is going to be done via Zoom. However, 43rd is in Oakland County. So if you get transported to Oakland County, it's your responsibility to notify this jurisdiction so that we can do the appropriate paperwork to have you Zoom in. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because if you fail to show up, that $7,500 personal bond will be enforced as a $7,500 judgment. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and don't reach out to the complaining victim in the matter. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Next time.
On the road, 43.
Sir, what's your last name?
Willingham.
On case number 20-7962, Roger Willingham. Detective, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
If you could state the facts for me, please.
Yes, Your Honor. 11/15/20 to approximately 12:30 p.m. Officers Fowler and McDermott were dispatched to 17389 Stricker in a domestic incident. Officers spoke to defendant Roger Willingham, who stated that there was a verbal argument but nothing physical. Officers spoke with Roger's wife, Yvette Schroeder, who advised an argument started the night prior and her sons came to her defense. Yvette advised Roger shoved both her and her son Matthew. During the incident, a lamp was broken. While transporting Roger to the station, he made a statement to Officer Fowler that, quote, he got into it with his sons but not his wife. Roger has a prior domestic violence conviction that was deferred under the DV Act in 38th District Court on February 2nd, 2008.
All right, thank you. Court finds probable cause, sign the complaint warrant. I do see that the complaint is signed. Mr. Willingham, can you state your name for the record, please?
It is Roger Willingham Jr., ma'am.
Thank you. Counselor?
For the record, Your Honor, Dana Frears appearing on behalf of the client for purposes of arraignment. I would waive formal reading and stand my client mute on the charges.
Thank you. Mr. Willingham, today's your day and time set to be formally arraigned as your arraignment attorney indicated. I'm not going to be reading out loud what the alleged offenses are or what the potential penalties are. You are entitled to certain rights. You are entitled to a bench trial, jury trial. If you want any witnesses subpoenaed on your behalf, the court will go ahead and subpoena those witnesses. You're also entitled to have an attorney present at all future hearing dates, as well as any time law enforcement wants to interview you regarding these matters. If you're out on bond, probation, or parole, if you're found guilty of these charges or any lesser included offense, that can be deemed as a violation. Do you understand that, Mr. Willingham?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Detective, can you give me a background, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Looking at Mr. Willingham's CCH, it appears as though the only prior conviction he has is for the prior domestic violence in 2008. He has, I'm showing, no active holds.
All right, thank you. Counselor, you want to be heard on bond?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. My client is 50 years old. He does reside with his wife and children. He is gainfully employed. He works for the city of Detroit in their IT department. He's been there for over 22 years. I would ask the court to consider setting a personal.
Well, I'm not going to do a personal bond due to the fact he has a prior DV out of this jurisdiction, but I will do a low monetary amount of $2,500 cash surety, 10%. There will be a no contact provision. He's not to have any direct or indirect with Matthew. Common spelling, Willingham. He's not to go back to 17389 stricter. Not to be within 1,000 feet of the victim and or residence. He's not to consume any alcohol, non-prescribed drugs. He's not to possess any weapons. That includes knives and bullets. He's not to leave the state of Michigan without the court's written permission. We're going to bring him back for a pretrial December 15th at 1 p.m. And Mr. Willingham, you will get a one-time visit back to the house, but you need to have a police escort. It'll be on their time, not your time. You will be able to take like a small suitcase out of the premises, okay? The court finds out anyway that you violated any of the conditions. The court will revoke your bond and you will be remanded into custody until the matter is concluded. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I actually have two. I'm sorry. The first one is my bond, 10% would be $250.
Correct.
To be honest, I only have $200 on me. I have a credit card with $200 on it that I have.
Sir, I'm not going to negotiate the bond. It's $2,500
Okay.
cash surety, 10%. What's your other question?
Now, on Monday, November 23rd, coming up, my son, my oldest son, Matthew, was driving my vehicle. And he was stopped and received 2 tickets by the East Point Police, okay? And the first ticket was going 1 to 5 over the speed limit. The second ticket was that he lost his wallet and he did not have his driver's license
Is this
on
relevant to the domestic violence case?
Well, because I have something, I have to go to court on Monday and Matthew was involved with that. So I don't know how that would work with that case, ma'am, if I don't have can't have any contact with him.
Why would you have to go to court? Those are 2 civil infractions.
But because the ticket is in my name, number one. But he got the ticket in my car, but the tickets are both in my name. So when I talked to the court, I came down to the court last week. I came down into the court last week and they told me for me and my son to appear at the Zoom meeting on the requested date of November 23rd.
Well, sir, it's a Zoom meeting, so you don't need to be present with your son. You won't be
Okay.
within
Yes,
1,000
ma'am.
feet.
Yes, ma'am. I got you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Yep, you have a good day. $2,500 cash surety, 10%.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. What's your last name?
Reese.
I hear you call me, but in a week.
calling case number 20-7968, Lamar Diaz. Reese, Detective, you're still under oath. If you could state the facts for me, please.
Yes, Your Honor. At 11/16/20, Officer Horde stopped a white Dodge Charger, Michigan plate, EGJ 8976 for a civil infraction. The driver, Lamar Reese, had a suspended driver's license and no vehicle insurance. An inventory search of the vehicle returned a loaded AR-15 magazine inside the glove box with 22 .223 caliber rounds inside the magazine. An Omni Hybrid Max AR-15 pistol was located underneath the hood in the engine bay. Reese is a felon with conviction of R&O out of 3rd Circuit Court on 10/18/16. Reese has a prior DWS conviction on 6/28/17 out of this court, Your Honor.
Court finds probable cause, sign the complaint and warrant. However, Detective, I don't have anything in here in reference to a felon with a weapon.
That's correct. It's under review right now, Your Honor.
All right, so there's potential charges. Okay, all right. Court finds probable cause, sign the complaint and warrant. I do see that the complaint's already signed. Mr. Reese, can you state your name for the record, please?
Lamar Diaz Reese.
Counselor?
For the record, Your Honor, Dana Freer is appearing on behalf of Mr. Reese. For purposes of arraignment, I would waive formal reading and stand my client mute on the charges.
All right, thank you. Mr. Reese, today's your date and time set to be formally arraigned. As your arraignment attorney indicated, sir, I'm not going to be reading out loud what the alleged offenses are or what the potential penalties are. You are entitled to certain rights. You're entitled to a bench trial, jury trial. If you want any witnesses subpoenaed on your behalf, the court will go ahead and subpoena those witnesses. You're also entitled to have an attorney present at all future hearing dates, as well as any time law enforcement wants to interview you regarding these matters. If you're out on bond, probation, or parole, should you found guilty of these charges or any lesser included offense, that could be deemed as a violation. You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Detective, other than they're still reviewing a potential felon with gun charges up there, can you give me a background, please?
Yes, Your Honor. 2016, Mr. Reese was convicted of 3rd Circuit for R&O. In 2017, he was convicted out of this court for DWLS and also possession of controlled substance. His last conviction came in July of 2018 for domestic violence. I'm showing no active holds for Mr. Reese.
All right, thank you. Counselor, do you want to be heard on bond?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. My client is 23 years old, and he has paid all of his outstanding tickets. This is the last matter he has to clear up. He has to go in front of the Secretary of State for a hearing to get his license back, and he does have that scheduled for this coming January. He does reside with his pregnant girlfriend. He's not currently, he lost his job due to the virus, so he's not currently employed. For all those reasons, Your Honor, I would ask the court to consider setting a personal bond.
Mr. Reese, do you still reside at 24513 Culver Street?
No, ma'am.
What's the proper mailing address for you?
19725 Kingsville Street, Harper Woods, Michigan, 48225.
I'm going to go against my better judgment. I'm going to do a $5,000 personal bond, Mr. Reese, but I'm going to tell you right now, if the detective reaches out to you, if they add another charge, you need to come in. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm not going to be happy if I'm letting you go on a $5,000 personal bond on this one. And should the Macomb County Prosecutor Office decide to authorize on that, you're going to have to man up on that other charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to bring you back for a pretrial December 15th at 1 p.m. Now, Mr. Reese, I'm the one that's going to be doing the arraignment on you if they authorize on it, and if you don't show up, I will not be happy. Do you understand that?
I will be there, Your Honor.
Okay, well, notice is going to get mailed out to the Harper Woods address with Zoom instructions on it. Okay? All right, good luck, young man.
Thank you.
Right this way. Up there. I'm going to bring the females in here shortly.
Okay.
Fellas, down here, once everybody's all arraigned, you guys can get phone calls with the exception of everybody got PRs.
Should we think Eric Speller posted if he's bringing the females in? Do we think Eric Speller posted female? Hey, Dana.
Yeah?
Can you speak to an Eric Speller?
No.
Good. He must have posted that. So should it be Friday already? It should be Friday already.
Oh, soon, Karen, soon.
The weekends are flying by too quick.
I know, and this week is a bad week.
First, last time, who is this? Natasha? Yep, you go first. Go to the website for her. Anika? Yeah.
And what's your last name?
My last name is Scott.
We're calling case number 20-7987, Natasha No Scott. Detective, you're still under oath. If you could state the facts for me.
Yes, Your Honor. At 11:15:20 at approximately 0:40 hours, the defendant was involved in a single-car PDA on 9 Mile near Gratiot, where 2 children ages 12 and 6 were passengers and sustained minor injuries. Officer McCulloch responded to smell a strong odor of intoxicants emanating from her person. She slurred her words and she spoke. When she spoke and was unsteady on her feet upon exiting the vehicle. Further investigation revealed she had failed all of her administered SFSTs. A bottle of Hennessy was found inside the vehicle. Per SOS lien, there was no insurance on the vehicle. And on 8/28/19, defendant pled guilty to an OWI out of this court.
Right, probable cause, sign the complaint and warrant. I do see that the complaint's already signed. Ms. Scott, can you state your name for the record, please?
Natasha Scott.
Counselor?
For the record, Your Honor, Dana Freer is appearing on behalf of Ms. Scott for purposes of arraignment. I would waive formal reading and my client on the third.
Thank you. Ms. Scott, today's your day and time set to be formally arraigned. As your arraignment attorney indicated, I'm not going to be reading out loud what the alleged offenses are or what potential penalties are. You are entitled to certain rights. You are entitled to a bench trial, jury trial. If you want any witnesses subpoenaed on your behalf, the court will go ahead and subpoena those witnesses. You're also entitled to have an attorney present at all future hearing dates, as well as any time law enforcement wants to interview you regarding these matters. You're also entitled to have a probable cause conference held within 21 days from today's date. Out on bond, probation, or parole, should found guilty of these charges or any lesser included offense, that can be deemed as a violation. You understand that, Ms. Scott?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Detective, can you give me a background?
Yes, Your Honor. Taking a look at Mrs. Scott's CCH. I'm not showing any prior convictions aside from the 2019 conviction for OWI. She does not have any current holds.
All right, thank you. Counselor?
Your Honor, my client is 35 years old. She does reside with her 3 children. She is gainfully employed. She works at Triumph Gear and handles all types of parts. Clearly, I would say that alcohol is an issue here. I did indicate to my client that if she was released, I would advise that she immediately seek treatment. Given that, I would ask the court to consider releasing her, but perhaps ordering some type of testing or treatment so that she can get some help that she needs.
All right. Chris, is she on probation?
No. I was released from probation.
Huh?
I didn't want to speak.
Back in August. They'll find her.
She released.
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm showing she had 12 months probation as of last August.
It's going to do a small monetary amount of $2,500 cash surety, 10%. I am going to require she get a scram tether prior to release. Now, Ms. Scott, should you go into inpatient treatment, obviously I would remove the scram tether, but in the interim, due to the fact this is your second offense out of this jurisdiction, it is somewhat alarming, as your arraignment attorney indicated. Obviously, there is an alcohol issue going on. And if you're a mother of 3 kids, you got to be looking down the future as to how you're setting your children up. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so if you get the documentation to the court that you check yourself in for in-treatment services, I'll go ahead and I'll remove the scram tether. We're gonna bring you back for a probable cause conference December 1st at 1 PM. So this is solely left up to you how you wanna proceed from today's date. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next one up.
What's your last name, young lady?
Pressberry.
You ready? Calling case number 20-7967, Shanika Latrice Pressberry. Detective, you're still under oath. If you could state the facts for me.
Yes, Your Honor. 11/14/20, Shanika Pressberry assaulted the victim, Tanisha Long, by punching Long in the face with a closed fist. While on the ground, Pressberry pulled locks of hair out of Long's head. While Officer Wiederhold was inventorying Pressberry's purse at the station, he found a taser and brass knuckles. Pressberry does not have a CCW permit to carry a taser.
Court finds probable cause, sign the complaint and warrant. I do see that the complaint's already signed. Ms. Pressberry, can you state your name for the record?
Shanika Pressberry.
Counselor?
The record, Your Honor, Dana Freer is appearing on behalf of Ms. Pressberry for purposes of arraignment. I would waive formal reading and stand my client mute on the charges.
Thank you. Ms. Pressberry, today's your date and time set to be formally arraigned as your arraignment attorney indicated. I'm not going to be reading out loud what the alleged offenses are or what potential penalties are. You are entitled to certain rights. You are entitled to a bench trial, jury trial. If you want any witnesses subpoenaed on your behalf, the court will go ahead and subpoena those witnesses. You're also entitled to have an attorney present at all future hearing dates, as well as any time law enforcement wants to interview you regarding these matters. You're also entitled to have a probable cause constituted within 21 days, and if you're out on bond, probation, or parole, should found guilty of these charges or any lesser included offense, that could be deemed as a violation. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
Detective, can you give me a background, please?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor. Looking at Ms. Pressberry's CCH, it appears as though the only arrest she's had is this current incident. You only showed one hold in the 36th District Court for a traffic offense.
All right, thank you. Counselor?
Your Honor, thank you. My client is 31 years old. She does reside with her 3 children. She is gainfully employed, working at Five Guys. As the detective indicated, this is the first offense for my client. Given that, I would ask the court to consider setting a personal bond.
Detective, where does Miss Long reside, the victim?
Yes, Your Honor. Let me take a look here. Ms. Long's current address is 6000 Newport Street in Detroit, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We're just going to do a $5,000 personal bond. There's going to be no direct or indirect with Tashima, T-A-S-H-E-M-A, Long. She's not to be near or by, I can read my writing, 6000 Newport in the city of Detroit. She's not to be within 1,000 feet of the victim and or her residence. You're not to possess any weapons. It includes knives, bullets, tasers, brass knuckles. Not to consume any alcohol or non-prescribed drugs. You're not to leave the state of Michigan without the court's written permission. And we're going to bring you back for a probable cause conference December 1st at 1 p.m. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, now if the court finds out anyway, you reach out to the victim in the matter or violate any of the conditions, the court will revoke your bond and remand you into custody. And the $5,000 personal bond will be converted to a $5,000 judgment. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Ma'am, you look like you're a beautiful woman and a mother of 3 kids. You really aren't setting an example properly for your children, okay? But good luck with you, okay?
Okay. What do you do?
I'll be back in 1 second.
And what's your last name?
Sellers.
Sellers. Calling case number 20 EA 05423, Linda Danielle Sellers. Ms. Sellers, can you state your name for the record?
Linda Sellers.
Counselor? Dana?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. For the record, Your Honor, Dana Freer is appearing on behalf of Ms. Sellers for purposes of arraignment. I would waive formal reading and begin my client mute on the charges.
All right. Ms. Sellers, today's your date and time set to be formally arraigned. As your arraignment attorney indicated, I'm not going to be reading out loud what the alleged offenses are or what potential penalties are. You are entitled to certain rights. You are entitled to a bench trial, jury trial. If you want any witnesses subpoenaed on your behalf, the court will go ahead and subpoena those witnesses. You're also entitled to have an attorney present at all future hearing dates, as well as any time law enforcement wants to interview you regarding these matters. If you're out on bond, probation, or parole, found guilty of these charges or any lesser included offense, that can be deemed as a violation. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Detective, does she have any holds?
Yes, she does, Your Honor. She's got 17 holds, 15 out of Detroit for traffic, 1 out of 37th District Court for DWS, and 1 out of 30th District Court for no license ever acquired. She does have a prior conviction for DWS out of 39th District Court in 2016.
All right. Counselor?
Your Honor, my client is 35 years old. She does currently reside with family. She's not working right now due to the pandemic. I didn't realize that she had that many holds, so I'm assuming the court's not going to give her a personal bond. I would ask the court to consider setting a bond, though, that she could possibly make.
All right. Ma'am, you still living at 15439 Cheyenne Street in Detroit?
Yes.
Have you been in this court before?
No.
Now, why do you look so familiar?
No, I haven't never been here.
All right, the court will do a small nominal bond of $2,500 cash, surety 10%. We're going to bring you back for a pre-trial December 21st at 8:30 a.m. Ms. Sellers, I cannot stress enough, if you're not showing up on your court dates, you're never going to correct anything, and you're going to get into the financial spiral downward. You got to show up on your court dates, ma'am, okay?
Okay, I will.
And then in the interim, you got to stop driving until you clear everything up. I know it's very difficult in the state of Michigan, but you're at a point, you're really going to put yourself in a financial mess, and you're never going to get out of it. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, young lady.
Right over here. Your Honor, I do have one swear to as well.
I don't understand what she said.
I think we're all good with you, Dana.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I hope your week gets better.
Thanks, Karen. You too.
Right. Is that, Detective, is that for Reinhold?
It is, Your Honor.
We didn't open that yet. Can we do that tomorrow?
Yeah, let's do it for tomorrow.
All right, thank you.